moving headlights, movers, video number 3. If I select movers, turn everything off except for the movers. Right now the movers are downstage center. I'm going to put them in a different spot. I'm going to put them faded on wave. Let me move the camera to show you what that is. Now I'm going to go ahead and push back downstage center and have it jump over to the other spot where it was. Now the moving headlights, of course, moved over there on their own. If you look closely at the stage, you can see them lighting up the stage right now. The room is, of course, does not have blinds yet, so you still can see some of the sunlight. Now, I'm going to go ahead and push the faded on white wall. You see the moving headlights all jumped over to faded on white wall location, which is just a position that was saved. I saved. Oh. One of the things that's interesting about the movers, of course, is they go only by color by wheel. So if I was to select a color, it jumps through, spins around the wheel that's in between the light and the lens, or it's in there somehow on this one, I don't actually know, but it spins the disc around, and you'll notice some of them are next to each other. Like, for example, let's see, yellow and magenta are right next to each other. So if I touch yellow, it goes this way for magenta and spins around this way for yellow. But if I touch something like, let's see, white and red, jumps through, has to spin through all the other colors on the wheel before it gets to, on the gobo before it gets to this. I also have, of course, shapes, which are other gobos. So it is a little disc that spins around and only lets this shape of the light out. It's very interesting. That's how they're able to make a lot of different shapes on things. Now, if I was to go here and go to that one, see it spins around to, it spins the wheel. If you can actually, you probably can't hear it on the microphone here, but you can hear the lights spinning over to this. There's also, they've got shake, where it just moves the wheel a little bit back and forth. That's very interesting. So all of these can be doing this shake. And the lights can, of course, be going all over the room, doing any other thing that you would like them to do. So if I was to say, for example, movers, and I go, this one right here where it's shaking, and then I say shutter fast, so now it's strobing and doing that. And I was to take that and then move it around the room by pushing effects and picking one of the effects or selecting one. Now the thing is actually jumping, the mover's headlights are actually moving all over the room and strobing that little design because I told it to by pushing the buttons. Now if you want to clear that, you can push clear, come back over to layer 1, push movers. You have to, I said in one of the earlier videos, you have to actually push shutter open for the strobing to stop, and then I would have to push open for it to go back to the no gobo design. That's moving headlights. I have a position that I can pick on its own if I go moving headlights, and then I push POS, which is the position button here that I have a piece of tape next to, and I can actually take the X and Y and I can move them specifically to different locations. So I can move them more or less wherever I want to go. And of course I can select them individually. I described that in another video. So if I go, movers is already selected, and I go, for example, push one of the previous or next heads, now I can just select this particular one, for example, and move it to wherever I would like it to go. And I can go to the next one, if that's not the one I want, and go right back to where it was, and then I can move something else. I can also come over here and I can say movers odd even, which is a button on the top right, which I have marked with a piece of tape as well, and now every other mover is selected. So if I was to say right now magenta, only half of them would go to magenta because I have odd even. Now if I push odd even again, I can, of course, do the other ones. If I want to do single lights, I would go next head, previous head, which is one of the buttons marked with tape, or I can go odd even if I want to do the groups quickly. Now, of course, I can clear this. Sometimes you have to come over to QStore, and I have on the bottom right of QStore, I have something called white start, and it takes everything back to a white and neutral location where it has every color and starts it over. Now I'm going to push white start again to get rid of that, and I can go back to layer 1 and start doing things that I would like to do. Movers. Next.